This was probably my favorite bowl of shoyu ramen that I've ever had. Leagues above.
Yeah, leagues above all the. Oh, that's amazing that it's leagues above the rest. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was so good.
Hi everybody, you're watching 5 AM Ramen, your top source for all things ramen in Japan. I'm Frank, your regularly consuming ramen host, and today we're meeting up with Jason from The World According to Jason. We're visiting 2 top-notch ramen shops in Yokohama. Yokohama is just south of Tokyo, and it's actually Japan's second largest city after Tokyo. Yokohama takes ramen very seriously, with a crazy number of highly ranked ramen shops. We're visiting a ramen shop called Trick for chicken-forward shoyu ramen, and then a little spot called Ramen Tao for heavier miso-powered ramen. Let's get to us on the ground. That is Jason and I after crushing these 2 bowls.
All right, so I am joined here by Jason. Awesome, thanks for coming out to Yokohama.
Thank you very much. I'm super excited.
Jason has his own YouTube channel. Like, what's the best?
It's The World According to Jason. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm mostly active on YouTube, but I travel around mostly in the New York area, other parts of the US. Been to Japan a couple times, a few places in Europe, but I love to travel and eat.
That is the most fun thing to do in the world.
It is.
My job is, of course, of similar vein. That's why we're having ramen today, of course, and recapping about ramen. And speaking of ramen, we had 2 very different bowls.
Yes.
First place was at Trick, Taikou in Japanese. And what did you think of it? Maybe you could just start by describing
I really liked it. Normally, like, shoyu is probably like kind of on the lower end of my preferences in terms of ramen, but I was very excited that it was like chicken-based broth. So I really enjoyed it. I think, like I said on my video, this was probably my favorite bowl of shoyu ramen that I've ever had. Like, it wasn't to me, at least, the shoyu wasn't like super strong. It was more chicken forward, but loved it. The broth, the noodles were amazing, the toppings were great, and I can't say enough good things about that.
It ticked
ramen.
all the boxes, and of course, I'm always happy when someone is like, that was the best bowl I had. Even if shoyu is maybe not at the top of the list, I imagine you've had a good amount of shoyu. And the fact that this one,
leagues above.
Leagues above all the. Oh, that's amazing that it's leagues above the rest. As you said, like, it was very chicken forward, right? Warm chicken flavor in the soup. They use multiple types of soy sauce, but I think between the 2, like, neither one kind of got in the way of each other.
I agree.
Seasoning and soup, very well balanced. Great noodles, great toppings. It ticked all the boxes, and you can understand why they're on Tabelog's top 100 East ramen shop list, and super friendly staff, right?
Really great. Yeah, I like that. I didn't feel like out of place necessarily. They were very warm and welcoming, and happy to see us. It was great.
I'm sure you've seen it all, and I certainly have when it comes to ramen shops, right? We're in Japan. Like, people are very polite, I think cordial, right? That's part of the Japanese cultural makeup, if you will. But I think it's always nice when people are extra friendly, right?
Yeah.
And ramen shops sometimes, they're super busy, and sometimes on the worst side of things, maybe even grumpy, right? As restaurant people can sometimes be, because there's a lot going on behind the kitchen and so forth. Not the case here. Super welcoming, smiley. It made the ramen perhaps taste that much better even.
Yeah, and I could tell they were like kind of watching us when we took our first bites, just to see how we react. And so I love it when they have pride in their work like that, and they want to see how people are enjoying their food. It's really cool.
We ticked that one off, and then went to a very different place for that second bowl at Taikou. You were mentioning earlier that miso is probably your favorite style of ramen. This place doesn't disappoint.
So miso is my favorite style, and so I had very high expectations coming to this place, and they exceeded those expectations. It was a delicious bowl of ramen. The broth was super flavorful. It was nice and rich and thick, and the noodles were super al dente and springy. The toppings were great. That chashu was just nice, and it just kind of melted in your mouth. It was really good. The bean sprouts had a really nice kind of smoky flavor to them. Added a nice crunch as well. So and they were also super friendly there too. I think you said maybe they had a reputation of being a little bit more like kind of Tokyo style, where they're like kind of in and out and not as like super friendly, but they were really nice to us at least. Yeah.
No, exactly. Really when we walked in, I was pointing out that there were some like rules written there, right? It's like, don't use your phone while you're eating, and I think it's more like, don't sit there there and watch a movie.
Take your time.
While you take your time, right? And the same thing. It actually, like, this is more rare, but it said, like, in polite Japanese, like, after the ramen arrives, like, eat it kind of quickly. It said, actually, like, it wasn't like don't linger. It's like eat it quickly. Those rules are there more as like
during the peak times.
Exactly, peak times, and that's part of ramen etiquette, right? It's like you eat and get out, like, so they can have that high turnover. But despite all those things being written down, like, we didn't feel that at all.
Yeah, I never felt pressured to like eat quickly and leave at all. It was it was really nice. It was super friendly people.
And great bowl. Getting back to the ramen.
Oh, so delicious. And I was like, I mean, we just had one bowl and I was full. And I was like, how am I gonna find the space to fit a second bowl of ramen in there? But I found a way. Like, my reserve stomach came in and oh man,
it was worth it. It was
so good. And this is the perfect weather for ramen. It's a little chilly. Ramen will warm you up and
Exactly. And that style of ramen comes from Sapporo. It's cold up there. I think the temperature couldn't be, as you said, more perfect for especially that second bowl. That piping hot bowl of miso ramen. Toppings that are stir-fried, the bean sprouts, thick noodles, rich miso soup. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was so good.
I think, is there anything we have left out? Ramen, politics.
This has been an amazing experience, and I think, if anything, this helps kind of reiterate that you kind of need to like look a little bit outside of Tokyo, because there's so many amazing ramen experiences to be had out there, and they don't all have to be in Tokyo.
For sure. I personally am a huge fan of Yokohama. I just like how the city is laid out, the vibe is. It's not a place that a lot of tourists come to because it doesn't have the bright neon lights of Tokyo, the temples and shrines, the Akihabara included, but Yokohama is an amazing city, and the ramen here is like fantastic.
So good.
And as we just experienced today, two very different bowls, essentially right next to each other.
And don't let the fact that it's out of Tokyo like scare you. The first place we went to was literally right outside of the subway station. So it's super easy to find. It's just, it takes a little bit longer to get to.
Exactly. Once you make the journey, well worth it. And thanks so much for coming along.
Thank you as well. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
And go follow Jason and World According to Jason.
Yep, the World According to Jason.
YouTube and wherever else on social media, as you mentioned.
Alrighty.
Thanks so much. Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Likewise.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. In our next video, we're back to the Kyoto Ramen series and back in Kyoto for more delicious ramen there.